I'll never catch him while I'm this small. Curious butterflies.
You mean bread and butterflies?
Oh, yes, of course.
I moved. She moved. She finally did it. Well done, me. It took so long, but we are finally here. And I thought I would drop in just to tell you what's happened so far and basically what's been going on this morning, because as you can see, she's in a new space. So effectively, I packed up the car on a Saturday night and we left at 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that, on Sunday morning. Oh my god, I'm quite literally so exhausted. I don't even know how to explain it. I am so tired, and yet I have so much to do. So I am here for the next 3 days, I think, which is great because it means that I get to set everything up, but it also isn't great in terms of the amount of time that I have and the fact that I only have like 3/4 of my stuff. Effectively, that was the amount that we were able to fit in the car, and that's what we're going with. But the rest of the day is effectively rearranging the furniture. When I got into this room, as you saw, it had a lot of furniture. None of it's the same wood. So it's something where I'm just going, okay, kind of thinking about how to organise the space, also to make it the most sane kind of space. Also, I have a king-sized bed now, which also currently looks like this. Yeah, so I have a king-size bed, which I am super excited to use, but also I am very aware of the fact that it is currently covered in stuff. Everything is covered in stuff. I have most things here, but I am also still incredibly stressed because I feel like I've forgotten so much. I also managed to move into a house with no internet. So for the next 3 days, I'm gonna have zilch, which is fine. And deciding that I can put up with, and we can get internet when the other people are moving in, because currently it's just me and one other housemate. But all I did was a shop, grabbed everything I needed in terms of like blue tack and hooks and things, grabbed all of those, and now the rest of the day is going to be spent reorganising furniture. Oh, I'm done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to reorganising and setting up, and why don't we see where we end up in a couple of hours and we will do a proper debrief. I'm trying to be quiet, like relatively quiet, just because it's 11 o'clock at night. Smart. So as you can see, I managed to clear my bed, but I still feel incredibly tired because I got up at like 5 a.m. and we got here at like 10. So very early day, and it's basically been non-stop. We stopped once for breakfast and that was about it. And now we have the majority of my stuff here. Like I still have like a couple pens and my winter clothes at home. I think I've already said that, but either way. But those are like the main things that I need to pick up now, and all I need to do is finish wrapping up the work I've been doing down south, and then I will be up here, living here permanently. Tonight I've just decided not to push myself too far, so I've been trying to spend the whole night going, what can go where? And I played a bit of Animal Crossing. We have no internet, which is something I did not realise. Effectively that's changed like my entire plans. I was planning to apply for jobs while I was up here because I could have done interviews over the next couple of days. I can't do that anymore because I need to alter my CV, and I use Google Docs, and as much as I love my 4G, I don't have enough to alter it. Could I go sit in a coffee shop? Yeah, but also the purpose of me being here was to like organize my room and organize my space, because to me that's very important. And kind of like do little bits and pieces meanwhile I can. Effectively, I have till Tuesday, so tomorrow is my only actually full day here. And my goals for tomorrow is more to finish tidying my space and my room into a layout I like, and for it to be completely organised. Also, I am going to wander into town, A, to continue getting to know the area, but B, and more importantly, to find a mirror, because I have like 10,000 tiny mirrors, but I kind of need to be able to see myself to make sure that I look reasonable before I go into uni. Beyond that, everything is sorted. Yeah, what we did was we signed the contract, dropped off all my stuff, went to Morrison's, because I never go to Morrison's because they're kind of rare where I live. But like, as in like a big Morrison's. But what I found was, like, we went to Morrison's, everything was good, but I couldn't buy anything like fresh, which was kind of weird because I normally eat like a lot of salad and stuff, so I've got like a bunch of pasta in my cupboard being like, there's nothing else I can eat apart from like, pasta and like toast, because that will last a reasonable amount of time. I might have to just bring the entire loaf of bread back with me. I realised that like as soon as I put it in the cupboard, because I was like, oh, it's gonna go off, wonderful. And as for when I'm coming back up, I don't know. Technically, I have one, like, currently in my books, I have one thing that I am actually doing in August. Yeah. Like, I have one session on my books. My only other, like, kind of worry, I suppose, is, like, my clients and things like that. Obviously, I prioritise their needs, but I'll be honest, I didn't even know if I was going to end up moving in here until quite literally yesterday. Well, actually, the 14th to be precise. Just because I'm an anxious ninny, and normally you get to like see contracts in advance and things like that, and I didn't know anyone who I'm moving in with. So far everyone's been lovely. I've met one other person, but so far my floor is a mess. My room is a mess. Like, this is all tidy, effectively. I have more books to bring because I'm doing publishing. It's like an excuse. It is an excuse. I want to bring books up to uni because my physical TBR needs to be read. Like, my, like, virtual TBR, she's good, she's dandy, she's going well. My physical TBR just gets read so incredibly slowly. So, I have one other goal, which is to finish a book that I now can't remember the name of. I'm going to put it up here. Circe. I want to finish Circe. So, I've effectively been really bad at picking up this book because I like the book. It's just that I keep on putting it down. And then forgetting it exists in like the least, it's not a negative thing at all. I think it's just the fact that it's more my brain misplaces it, and because I'm so busy, it's something where I'm normally on my phone or my iPad, so reading digitally is a lot easier. But also audiobooks, goddamn blessing. I just finished The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, which I'm gonna put up here. That's the cover, that's who it's written by. And meanwhile it was good. Like, it was another 3.5 stars book, which I've just been on this track of like reading 3.5 stars books for like the last like month, solid like month and a half now actually. But I've been on the track of reading that for the last month and a half of just 3-star books, nothing great. And meanwhile the book itself is well written. I thought it was just a really nice book. Nothing about it stood out to me, and the twist that happened was predictable from like the second chapter. Like, it was something where like this one thing happened, I was like, oh, I see the twist. It was good. And then like as the story progressed, I was like, oh yeah, this is the And that's kind of what annoyed me, because when it finally came out, it was something where I was like, it was about time you addressed the very obvious twist you're trying to put in here. But for me, that was like a real letdown. But I liked it. It was nice. I wouldn't express any more enthusiasm. That's it. So, that is all my passion for this book. I have no other thoughts on it, but besides that, I want to try and finish that book meanwhile, Cersei, meanwhile I'm up here, because we've finished The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. What else can I do? As for my next read after that, I think I am going to read Lilia. I can't remember who it's by. It's on my shelf. Wait. I'm not even going to try and say her name because I can't actually read it through the red light. And there's one other one that I want to read, but I can't remember what the name of it is. I'm going to insert a picture of it here because it's on my bookshelf and I just can't remember the name of it. And it's just empty head, ghosty head. But I've been looking forward to reading that one for a while, for a variety of reasons. Just being that mostly I've just heard good things about it. I have this really bad track record of not reading the blurb at all. Like, I don't read blurbs. So like, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, did not read it prior, like did not read the blurb, just was given a recommendation. I was just like, alright, read it. And love how I didn't give a summary there. If you want to know what The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, effectively, it's kind of like a fairy tale of a girl who is sacrificed to the king of the sea, and my brain has now forgotten everything. How? I literally finished this book like 10 minutes ago. The sea god, but this girl is sacrificed, if you know, you know, to the sea god. Well, effectively she sacrifices herself to the sea god, and it is the journey she goes on through what I'm calling the spirit realm, but I don't believe they use that word, but through the spirit world and the realm of the gods, and her journey to find her way back to her family and resolve the issues that are going on in her village. It is a 3.5 star, and I have nothing else to add on to that. It was good. I probably wouldn't like enthusiastically recommend people to read it, but I did like it. I thought it was just a really pretty story. But it wouldn't be something where I go, you have to read this. On my current TBR, I'm going to read Fourth Wing. My plan was to read it this month. It's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. I still need to film a podcast. Like, what am I going to do about this poor book podcast on Patreon? You should follow me. Because normally I do in-depth book reviews of like a book that I've really loved throughout the month. And yet for the last 2 months, it's been me kind of like overall reviewing all the books I've read. Just being like, yeah, they were not the worst. But you can check that out if you want. But I'm going to try and find an audiobook for my train journey back if I finish Cersei tomorrow. Because hopefully then I will read a book I actually enjoy. What's new? So effectively, I've already told you the plan for tomorrow is to find a mirror. That's it. Find a mirror, read my book, actually finish unpacking. All good things. But I will talk to you tomorrow because currently I'm very tired and I just want to go to bed. It is Monday the 17th of July and it's my first day living here. So we still have no Wi-Fi. That hasn't changed. It's not going to change for a while. So my current plan is to go into town out in this absolutely disgusting weather and walk to town, mostly because I don't know the walk there off by heart yet, and so I know if I walk it there and back, it will just familiarize me just enough for me to have learnt it. Though it is a walk. It is gross weather, but I am still going to try and get the mirror that I need and get all the little bits and pieces that I've needed done. It's now midday, I've had some lunch, and honestly I spent most of the day just cleaning up little bits and pieces. Like, I haven't like dedicated myself to it because I knew I was going to head out, and also I was more like psyching myself up to do that because I was just like, I don't want to leave the house in this weather. I don't want to have to deal with it, which is fine, but at the same time I need to get over myself and get out. I haven't decided on what book I'm going to read next, and I haven't found my copy of Circe, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my copy of Circe. I'm just looking at my floor because it's not covered with stuff anymore, like as much, but it's got like jumpers and stuff on the ground, because that's the one thing that I'm still debating on how to hang. Because if you hang your, and by jumpers I mean cardigans, you hang your cardigans on the side, they get the lovely little noosey bit. So I need to just get over myself and put them on hangers. I'm just someone who's just like, but I want to hang them up like that and be lazy. But yeah, I'm just kind of just faffing over nothing. But I like faffing over nothing. I've had a nice morning, I need to head out, and then what I need to do is when I get back I need to make a list of the things that I want to do tomorrow, because I am here till about 5 p.m. and then I am heading to the station to get the train back to the south, so I'm just gonna call it, because I still have to work until my work tapers off when I timed it to. But yeah, it's nice being here. It's very quiet, which I kind of like, but hey, I'm gonna go shove on a jumper and a rain mac because I clearly need one, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. Just because I didn't want to, so I didn't. Overall, I ended up getting a lot of different things kind of done. I didn't do as much as I wanted to, and I did get off track and do a little bit of thrifting. A little bit of thrifting, have to say. And I did pick up some bits and pieces. One I had on like my list, and this I did not have on my list, but I thought I would talk you through what kind of happened, because effectively I got into the centre of York and was like, okay, I want to find a mirror. So I went to a bunch of charity shops and I kind of looked for a mirror, which is also how this happened. But there was one store that had like a couple brown mirrors, like wood mirrors, which wasn't what I was looking for. A gorgeous silver mirror, but I couldn't lift it. And I was kind of like, I don't know anyone who can kind of help me take it back. And I was kind of like, do I want to carry it back all by myself? No, it's a bit bigger than I was kind of looking for. I was kind of looking for one of the little metal mirrors. So I didn't end up picking up that one. I saw a really nice one with roses on it. It was really cute again. And then there was the final ones. It was a lot of like wooden mirrors, which I found very interesting, because I know if I go into like any charity shop in the South in general, I can like find a gold mirror really quickly normally. And it's like something that I see constantly. And now I'm up here, it's just like non-existent. So I might try and get one in the south. If I do, that's great. If I don't, then I don't. I was trying to get it up here so I didn't have to transport it up, because I was already having enough jip, like transporting like all of my little wall decor and my like print that has glass covering it. But I thought I would talk you through what I did get, because I did purchase some things. One of these I have to return because this charity shop did not have a changing room. But this is unfortunately the thing I have to return. It's Shein, which I probably shouldn't have spent £10.50 on, but it was super cute and I really liked the purple kind of checkered. But I tried it on and then immediately thought of my school summer uniform. And I was like, actually, I don't want to look like a secondary schooler in summer particularly. And it just didn't fit right. Like I'm breathing in that like take. It's just didn't fit right. It's super cute though. Next we have something that I am going to keep because I actually really love it. It fits really well. And just look at her. It's this Oasis like really long paisley dress which has this little flare here. It's completely like open back. I just really liked it. I thought this wasn't gonna fit. I thought this wasn't gonna fit, and then this was. And I was just kind of like, it's fine, I'll try them on. I think I'm gonna like this one more anyway. I tried it on, and I do like this one more. But this one fits, so I am keeping that. I really love it. I can't stop buying dresses at the moment. It's really annoying. Like, your girl needs to learn to stop buying dresses. Finally, the last thing I brought, and I'm not going to unravel them, was these trousers. I'm just going to leave them folded. Super soft. They're the kind of like the same silhouette as the cargos I'm wearing. And I just wanted something that was a bit between like professional and casual so I can wear them for both. Because I own like trousers that I use for job interviews, but I kind of hate those trousers like with a burning passion. I still have them. It's just because I need them for like professional things, and I was just like, I want something professional but that's a bit more relaxed. So that was my goal and I achieved it. The next thing that I wanted to do on my to-do list but I never mentioned to you guys was earrings. In case you don't know, I tend to wear these very large, I don't know, these ones are very large, they're kind of medium, but statement earrings as just a general thing I do. And I wanted to pick up some new ones because I had some sun ones that I've been wearing constantly, like constantly. And they're beginning to die. Like, they're struggling. They're on their last legs. I've brought them up here. And I know that as soon as I get a replacement pair of them from the same vendors, I am going to have to chuck them out because they are dying. And we can all admit that they are dying. You know, I thought I would see if I could pick up the exact same ones. I couldn't, but I did get 3 pairs. I have no clue what this store was called or who makes them, but these are super cute. We have these really cute space themed ones. This guy with like the moons and the stars and Saturn, and I just really liked them because I wanted more space themed earrings and I just wanted to try them. Also they are just like little simple gold and blue ones. The next ones were these little snowdrop earrings, like Lily of the Valley or Snowdrops. They're either way, they're just super cute. I wanted a bit more colour anyway, and I was planning on getting a Snowdrop hair grip at some point because I've been keeping my eye on this hair grip for like ages. So now that I'm actually going to do that, I have earrings to wear with it so I can look like a little fairy because that is my goal in life. Finally, we have these little rain cloud ones. These are more to like inadvertently replace the ones that I currently am wearing. That's everything I've got. I've been doing some tidying. I've been listening to the audiobook Call Me Maybe by this person. It's really good. It's a cute rom-com. I have half an hour left on it. Very happy with it so far. It's just what I needed. But I think I'll love you and leave you because my camera is dying and I need to tidy up, and that is how I am going to spend my evening. So it's almost 11 o'clock, which means that I'm about to go to bed. I'm about 70% done with my room, probably over that, more like 75-80% done with my room. But I still feel like I have a long way to go because it's kind of me working out my organization and how I want to like set up my desk as not only my workspace, but also where I'm planning on doing like my makeup and things. Something I realized is that I brought like all my tech here, which works really well for filming, but also not so well for example, my Patreon podcasts, which I am planning on filming probably tonight, if I'm honest. I'm just gonna make myself another cup of coffee after this, and not a cup of coffee, god no, cup of tea. And I'm going to sit down and film like a short book review because I don't have a big one to put up this month so far. Though I finished Call Me Maybe by this person. I'm so sorry, I've forgotten your name. Which is a Audible original that you can get with your subscription. I loved it. It was just what I needed. 5 out of 5 stars for like a romance, like the romance aspect. They did a great job. For me, again, there were certain things that were predictable, but I think it was very obvious that the author was doing that on purpose. Liked the characters. It was very cute. I just wanted, like, I wanted more. Basically, it is about a small business owner who is setting up their website when their website goes wrong, and the customer service rep who's trying to fix the issue on the other end of the line. And I listened to this when I was out and when I was tidying. I literally finished the last 30 minutes of it. I was like, why isn't there more? It was really cute. It was just a rom-com. I couldn't help but every time I heard the guy who narrates his section and his voice, I couldn't help but think of The Rock from, what's it called? I cannot remember what it's called, but they have a spin-off show. It's called This, and I'm going to kick myself for it. But The Rock from that, the Logic Rock, every single time I heard his voice. I don't know whether they're played by the same person. I don't know what's going on. And like the entire time I was just like, that's all I could think of with him in my ear. So I have this one very like vividly kind of like, not vividly described character, but like her appearance is discussed. Because obviously they can't see each other. I have her, and then his appearance isn't discussed until like halfway, like until the end basically. That's when we find out what he actually like properly looks like. And the whole time, like even after he was just like, oh yeah, like even after his appearance had been revealed, I was just like, no, he's this dude. He's this man. Like, no. I'm going to discuss it more on the Patreon podcast. I'm going to do a short podcast, and then what I'll do is I'll do 2 in August, because otherwise there won't be anything that's going up. And I don't want that to happen. So if you are on my Patreon, thank you for being so patient. I hope this will make up for it. So tomorrow I am leaving so my train is technically at 5:30, but I want to get there with loads of times. So I think I'm going to leave at 4:30 instead, which means that I will have, let's say 4 hours, because I'm lazy in the morning and I will get up before midday. But I don't like assuming that I'm going to be a productive human before midday. I think I still will end up doing tidying and stuff. But I really want to get as much as I physically can done. The struggle I have is organising and how I want to set up the space. because I've done really well with this part. But the things that I've left behind are like I didn't really realise how many knickknacks I had. And when I moved out of Farnham back in like 2021, I got rid of like trays and things like that. And I didn't realise how regularly I used them. And so, for example, like with my makeup, I still have I use mugs to drink. And I thought I had a lot more mugs than I actually do, which is great for me because I can now restart my collection. But it's not great for the fact that I store makeup brushes and pens and any sort of makeup where it's like a tube, effectively. I store them all in mugs, and so I don't have that normal solution. So I'm going to finish that. I'm going to finish podcast episodes, hopefully. Did I end up reading Circe? No. No, I did not. No, I did not. It will work out at some point either way. I really am just kind of like bad at like reading physical books, and also because I'm not in a routine. So how do I put this? I'm not in like a routine with how I'm like reading at the moment, because what I do is I read during my life drawing, which I'm allowed to do, just for the record. So for example, when we're doing extremely long periods of drawing for like 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, dependent on the class, I will read during that time because obviously it makes sense, but also I haven't been doing, I've missed my class this week because I was out with my parents at a big event. Effectively, I joined a cult, but it's not a cult, but it kind of is a cult. Yeah. But I missed it this week, and then the week before it's not running, and obviously after I move here I can't run it anymore. So I'm kind of like thinking of how to fit it into my schedule, which will be interesting and nice. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying, but I've had a good day, and I hope you like this. Whatever this is, I'm very kind of grateful to be where I am. I will update you in the morning. I'm just babbling. I feel like my head's kind of missing, if that makes any sense. But, you know, I hope you've had a good time watching this, and I will see you tomorrow. I basically say that as every transition. I'll learn. Good morning / afternoon, and welcome back. So effectively last night all I did was film my podcast where I did a short little book review of Call Me Maybe by Cara. Oh, I've forgotten her name again. I'm so sorry, Cara. I'm so sorry. Again, I just reviewed it and we talked about it on the podcast, just because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do a full podcast before the end of the month, because I am going back today. And this morning, got up at 7 a.m. and I just worked on my room. I am now 90% done. All that is left to do is put away the knickknacks on my bed, organise my desk, and hoover. And then take out the garbage from unwrapping stuff. That's it. That's all that needs doing, and then I am done. I'm so excited. Beyond that, I know I said I was going to read Circe. I know I said that, but guess what I haven't done? Read Circe. Again, like, I just am bad at picking up physical books, like, because I forget that they're there, but it's on my bed. I'm gonna read it on the train back. I'm using you to keep me accountable. Yeah. But my hope was to finish this all sooner rather than later. So, for example, as soon as I'm finished filming this, I'm going to finish my tidying up, and then I'm going to get on reading Circe. Just because I want to actually read some of it before I leave. I'm not so close to finishing where I'm just like, it's so close and yet so far, but I am close to finishing. And I want to read the end of it. I want to, like, I know where I'm at in the book, and it's at this point where I do want to finish it. Because physical books and me, we fight a lot. In terms of the fact, like, for example, if it's digital, then it's convenient because I always have my iPad or my phone on me, but when it's physical, I lose it. I've said this 1,000 times. I just repeat myself constantly, and I feel like at the moment I've been repeating myself forever. I no longer feel like my brain is melting through my eyes. Instead, I just feel like emotionally tired rather than physically and mentally tired. So all that I've got left to do now is those little bits and pieces, and I'm gonna check in with you guys before I finish, because I want to leave this podcast. I've been filming too many podcasts. I filmed my other podcast that I have on my Patreon page literally an hour ago. So I've been doing podcast up podcast, and both of them you can access through Patreon. Go follow me. Oh, I just kicked my tripod. Either way, thank you so much for following this journey, and I will see you in a couple of hours. So I finally read a bit of my book. So basically I had about 100 pages left, which is a lot less than I realised, and now I have about 50, which is significant progress. Honestly, I just am at this point where I want to finish this book because it's like at the back of my mind, and I do like the book. She's good, and I'm excited to see how it ends because I know very little about the character of Circe anyway in Greek mythology, but I know a fair bit about Odysseus from like previous readings ages ago. I can't remember. I've definitely read the Odyssey at some point, but it was such a long time ago I can't remember, and I recall a lot of the information that's in here, but I didn't recall any specific myths around Circe herself and her son, which I didn't even know she had, because that's how little I'm tuned into her mythology. And it's been a really interesting read because I've learned a lot. And it's interesting to see how Madeline Miller, because I have her name right in front of me and I remember it, Madeline Miller intersects both the mythology of Circe herself along with each different character's mythology and how it's so seamless into the story. So it's something where it is discussed in a way where it feels like genuine. It doesn't feel like awkwardly going, and here's this character's backstory. It's very seamlessly intertwined into the story, and it makes sense where she chooses to put in these little mythology bits and pieces and stories throughout the story itself, if that makes any sense. So far it's really good. It's not gripping me in kind of the way that like I would kind of hope that it would. Like, I haven't read A Song of Achilles and I have heard that it will rip out my heart, but besides that I've heard nothing else. So basically I read this thus because I found it in a charity shop and I wanted to read her writing because I had heard so much about Song of Achilles, but I had heard nothing about Circe. Like, I had seen the book around, but I hadn't heard any reviews of it. And so I'm excited to make up my mind for myself. In case you don't know what this book is about, this is Circe is the daughter of Helios, who is the sun god in Greek mythology. And he is also a titan. And so it's kind of her experience growing up and her mythology following her life. And that's all I'm gonna say, because obviously there's a lot more I could say, but she's like, I don't want to spoil anything because like she's banished, which I don't think is a spoiler, but she's banished. She has some intertwining with Odysseus and it's very interesting. Yeah, I like it so far. I'd be interested to see how it like finishes, because for me this is like a solid 4 stars. It is a good book, but nothing is really gripping me in kind of the way I want it to. It feels very natural to pick up and read, but it's not making me feel anything beyond my own like personal investments in female characters. So meanwhile I'm invested in Circe as a character, I am not as invested as I kind of almost want to be. Like, I don't know, I think it's just I want to be invested in this character emotionally a lot more than I am. So meanwhile there is a level of investment that I already have. I don't feel like it's expanded beyond, oh, she's a decently written female character who I understand and on some level relate to. Yeah. That's kind of it. And I think it might be because, like, obviously I'm not Greek, nor am I existing hundreds of years ago, hundreds of thousands, well, not hundreds of thousands, thousands of years ago. Like, I don't know much about her, and I'm interested to see where this tale goes, and I'd be interested to read another version of Circe's myths after this is done, because obviously meanwhile I know Odysseus's myths and I like how they intersect into the story. I'd be interested to see if there are any differences between this book and the, you know, myths themselves, or how she's taken and twisted those myths into what she's created here, because I think that's really interesting. I'm not the most keen on retellings in general, like that's just me. I'm personally someone who's like still trying to find the books they like really passionately. I have this thing for gut-wrenching books, and it's like, why am I choosing to torture myself? And I think it's just something where I like feeling really intensely about something, whether that be good or bad or ugly. Especially if it's like a bad book, like for example A Little Life, where it's a very traumatic story to say the least. Any story where I feel something really strongly is normally where it gets me, especially if it's like well written and beautiful. I really need to just Google how to do reviews, because every time I do reviews I'm just like, am I doing this wrong? But for me this is a really decent book. I like it, it's engaging, it's just I don't have the level of investment in the story or the characters beyond just I like her, and that's kind of it. I think my issue also is the fact there's so many characters and their names are all so long, and that's fine in general, but we'll go long periods without mentioning a character's name, and then I'll hear it again and I'll be like, who? Which is kind of frustrating for me. But beyond that, it's like where I'm like, I like the story. It's something where it's a solid book and I like the story. I like the way she's taken the mythology so far, but it's something where I want to really explore rather deeply the character. And I feel like, obviously, this is only like a 300-page book, so I feel like meanwhile you explore Circe relatively well, I would say. I don't know how it would be interesting. I want to see how this ends, because I would be interested to see, but I think it's going to be a 4 stars. I'll put here if it's like a 4 stars by the time I'm finished reading it. But yeah, it's okay and it's good. But I am giving it a 4 stars so far. I don't think anything this book could do could really change that. I think the only thing that would really change it is if, like, maybe if it was like written slightly differently, and if the character was maybe more, like, I wanted almost more of her own inner dialogue and her own thought process, because she's a really interesting character, but she's written to be incredibly human for a god. And I think I compare her to characters like the Sandman from Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. Like, I believe that's what it's called. My brain has immediately forgotten everything. But I compare her to the characters from The Sandman, especially the ones that live forever. And she's so distinctly human, like in a way where she doesn't feel like a god, which for me is kind of an issue, because I would like her to feel like a god. And I enjoy reading from those kind of perspectives of someone who is a god, and especially because this is told, like, this is written as if it's already happened. Like, as if the events that we are being told have already unfolded. And the issue I found with that is, meanwhile she's coming in with this more retrospective look on her past, I wanted it almost to be told in the present, or with more interjections from the future, because I feel like I don't know her young self as well as I know her older self and then her older self. And also I feel like there would be more of this estrangement, if that makes any sense. So for example, like, there's a lot more distance between a lot of the gods, especially, I'm going to use the Sandman because it's like the easiest thing. There's a lot more distance emotionally between the gods and the humans in the Sandman. I know they're not called the gods, I know they're called something else, but my brain's already forgotten. But any sort of eternal being, kind of like, I always see them as a little bit, they're not human, they're not going to be as involved, and meanwhile it is touched on in this book, it's not explored to the fullest depths. Yeah, that's kind of my whole thought process on it currently. I think also the fact that I haven't read this book in like a couple of sittings, and I've read it over the course of about a month and a half, and that's fine because I've been doing other stuff and I've been reading other books in between. And meanwhile, it's good. I think it would have benefited from being read a bit more quickly, and that's my own fault. I am gonna read the rest on the train home, and I'm also gonna love you and leave you here because all my thoughts are done. I will be doing a part 2 to moving in, just because this is only the first step. I've only done half of it, and I'm not here permanently at the moment, so I want to sit down and, you know, like properly go into it, I guess. I'm gonna film the process of finally finishing my move-in and doing like a little room makeover, because currently, meanwhile, she's cute. Like, she's cute. I've tidied everything. Look how adorable she is. I'm gonna insert some B-roll here. She's cute, but also she's not 100% finished yet, and you can clearly see that. Like, I know that this wall over here, it needs a tapestry, it needs something, and it just doesn't feel quite finished yet, which is inevitable. But I will technically see this house in about 2-3 weeks, which is exciting, and I'm very excited for it. And then that will be it. I will be living here permanently, and I will basically be only going back for Christmas. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and enjoyed the process of moving in. I'm aware that I've been all over the place, and the way that I've been talking is in very much swings and roundabouts, and I appreciate it if you stay with me, if you subscribe, like, comment, etc. I have social media, they are all linked down in the description: TikTok, Instagram, etc. You can all find them. If you've joined me from Patreon, thank you. I appreciate it. Beyond that, I hope you have a lovely day, and thank you so much for listening to me, and I will see you another time.